Welcome to episode 633 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 23rd of May 2019. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by ATH Web Hosting at athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, easy to install WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. We have back again Australia's two top podcasters. I'm your host Jason Oakley. I'm joined this week again by Will Tompkinson. Did I get your name right?
Are you sure?
I had some other bloke on last time when you couldn't make it, so I'm glad you could make it this time.
This is my twin. Not quite as bright as me, though, I noticed.
Oh, yep. That's debatable, isn't it?
It's open for mass debate. Now, we've got... I do have to mention the Aussie Tech Heads hosting. We use it at work. We have for a long time, and I have to admit, Glenn and the guys who run it do an amazing job because we have the world's stupidest web devs, and they manage to tolerate them and put up with their shenanigans and insane amount of bandwidth usage and just stupid stuff that's happening. So I can't speak highly enough of that. Honestly, man, I tell you what. Our web devs are so bright. They opened up a high priority support ticket asking whether or not they should use POP3 or IMAP. Okay.
Yep.
Why does that even matter? Because you're not even doing the email. You're doing the web. I do the email.
Yep.
So yeah, that's sort of mention that. Yeah, if you want hosting and you want packages and you want someone to look after you,
ATH.
you want someone to hold your hand and talk you through every step of the way, even the steps you should know. So, 'tis all good. But yeah, no, it's been what was it, a couple of weeks, three weeks or so.
Yeah, nearly 4. I should also mention the thing that we started off last episode is this bloke who runs a thing called Aussie Byte Fitbit clock faces is giving a discount to anyone who supports or watches Aussie Tech Heads and is a fan. If you use the code when you're purchasing one of the Aussie Byte clock faces from Fitbit, ATH19 is the code, you get 33% off any Aussie Byte clock faces in the Fitbit app gallery.
Ooh.
How about that?
Sexy.
Yeah, I had a Mother's Day discount. We've had a few people using that, so I thought we can do one for our fans from Aussie Tech Heads. Get your Fitbit Ionic or Versa Lite. Download Aussie Byte 1 and use the code ATH19.
I do not have a Fitbit, however, I have seen some of those faces and stuff, and they look really cool.
Thank you, sir. I've got another one in progress that I haven't mentioned. It's a cute little robot dude. Kind of like robot. having a Wally or something on your phone, on your watch.
Yeah. I can imagine that. You could have two. You could have Wally and have an Eva. And
don't make it more complicated for me. I haven't even announced this to anyone. I'm still in I've done prototype. I've done most of I think all of the graphics are done now, so I have to do all the programming behind it. Should be fun.
What's the worst part? Is it because it uses actual picture files, doesn't it? So the actual
PNGs.
Yeah. So the graphics isn't super complicated, but...
And because it's such a low resolution, it's easy to do. I mean, it's high res when you look on the watch because it's marine spool, but it's not 1080p and trying to design something for that. And that's all PNG and then JavaScript for the code, and that's it. So if you know CSS, PNG, and JavaScript, get into.
So if you know a lot of acronyms, you're sorted.
Yeah, TLAs for the win. TLAs FTW.
I hate TLAs. Oh dear. Wow.
They can POQ, right?
LOL. Enough horseplay. So yeah, we've it's been winter is almost coming.
You wouldn't know it.
It's pretending to be almost winter here at the moment. We've had 2 days where I almost thought about putting a jumper on.
I've got a doona on my bed and I don't sleep with it on me at night because it's not worth it. It's no worth it.
It's still I'm still sweating my ass off during the day, and
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, how much further into winter do we have to go? But you watch, it'll just go
August.
nice, 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 freezing.
Yeah.
You wake up as an icicle one morning because you didn't have your blanket on.
How many times have I been like every year? It cools down a little bit at the end of spring, and I'm like, oh, it's some autumn. At the end of autumn, and I'll just okay, I better put the air conditioner away. 3 nights later, get that bloody air conditioner. It's a portable one. Get that bloody air
Yep.
conditioner back out. What the hell happened there? I thought we were going to winter. No, of
Yeah.
course not. Put the
No.
electric blanket. I put the what do they call it? The flannelette sheets on the bed for winter.
No. Yep.
2 nights later, I ripped the damn things off and put the nice summery ones back on again because I
I
was
know.
sweating buckets.
It's nuts, isn't it? But then they've had snow and stuff
Yeah,
at where they're supposed to have snow, but they've had early snow this year already. And it's like,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. And then there's a cyclone thingy up north, and then there's a town in above Cairns somewhere that's got hit by a tornado, and it's like, what is going on?
That and the killer animals is what makes it Australia.
One of my customers who buys batteries for backup systems and stuff, he actually works for Telstra, and he's part of the disaster recovery team when cyclones hit and whatever, and they're going to go and repair towers and stuff like that. And he was saying last week, I think he was saying that they've the Friday they officially declared cyclone season over. So they laid off half of their part-time workers, and then that Monday, a cyclone hit the coast.
Hey, everybody, can you come back, please? We stuffed up.
So, yes, it is all fun. So I've been playing with my 3D printer and making some
Bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces like this thing here, which is a thumb drive holder, and it just hooks over your monitor, so you've got access to your thumb drives whenever you need them. Stuff like that. And it's really amazing how much actual practical stuff you actually use. It's surprising.
No, what's amazing is how many thumb drives you find that you forgot you had when you make one of those things.
Yeah, well, here's another one. Well, I printed this one. I printed off this one and then realised that I didn't have enough room. So, yeah, that's the one I printed.
Only I didn't adhere it properly, so on this end it comes up like it's a little boat, and you could go sailing up the river.
I printed this one off, thinking, oh yeah, that'll do, and then realising that I've actually got a heap more thumb drives than that'll fit in here. So this one holds most of my micro SDs and my SDs now, and my thumb drive's going that one. It's like...
But do you know, a week before I printed, I think I could find one thumb drive in the house when I really needed it.
Yeah, that's it. I actually had Linux Mint, which I've got on my main media center, and that was on that thumb drive. I was using it for a boot recovery drive, and I needed to format that to put other stuff on it because I couldn't find any other drive.
It's worth printing them out. It's worth printing it out, definitely.
Although that's when you discover that these high quality, super cheap, I don't know, $8 or something they were. They're supposed to be 8 gig ones. They're metal. They're actually quite decent construction, but they're only like a 2 gig card.
Yep.
They lie. But so that's all been fun.
Yeah, I haven't had my printer on for a couple of months. I need to get it going again and print some stuff.
Mine's still sitting up there. I just need to get the there's a headphone holder. You clamp that onto your desk, and you wrap your headphones over it, and your cord sits in there,
and you can poke your thing in the hole.
Yeah. It's got a little monster face on it, and that's his eyes. And you stick your headphone.
Hilarious.
But yeah, so I need to get I've got just ordered a new PTFE tube and stuff for it, so hopefully that'll fix it. But it really is. It was one of those things I wanted it just to have because I'm like, yeah, why not? I could think of a few things I can use it for. And then once I got it, I realized, wow, I can actually do this, and I can print this.
You haven't stopped printing since you got it.
I've been through about 5 kilos of PLA with it.
You do stuff for the kitchen.
Yeah, well, I mean, even stuff like this. Like this is a holder that holds obviously piping and whatever to join together. for another project I'm working on. But I've got cutlery thing, and I've got a shampoo and conditioner holder, even a simple. I don't know if I've got it here. I've got the really skinny little 3-in-1 sewing machine oil. How they're really skinny and tall bottle.
All right. Yep.
And you can just look at them funny and they fall over and dump oil everywhere. Yeah, well, there's a base you can print for it that actually sits in and gives a nice wide base. Just something as simple as that. Or the, that's the 3-in-1 bottle there. So it's super skinny. There's a base that sits in it. Or the other one that I just was about to print off is the holder that holds the straws for like your WD-40 cans and stuff like that.
All right.
And because once you take that off, that's gone forever. So just little simple things that make your life so much easier.
Yeah, get into it.
That's it.
You need to record filming. You need to record printing some of that stuff and put it on YouTube so we can watch the stuff you print. Do a time lapse or something.
Yeah, well, I need to have another camera set up for that because I'm only I'm running Octoprint, which for those who don't know, is basically a web backend to allow you to talk to the printer remotely, so you don't have to have your computer on all the time. It does the job.
And you don't have to pop your SD card in and out all the time with the jobs you want to print. You just send it straight across to there and it prints. You
send it straight into your printer. It maintains all that. It's got all your temperatures and your settings and your
new releases for plugins.
Wow. Apparently I haven't started this for a while. And you can run your G code. You can control the printer manually. You can have your web stream and everything loading from there, except I'm only running a Pi W, which isn't powerful enough to run the webcam as well. But so I need to do something about that. But yeah, it's a really handy way of doing it. Of course, you can also remotely access it and print stuff remotely and whatever. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Shall we get on to some news, Mr. T?
Let's do something useful. Speaking of useful prints.
I am a useful prince. I didn't know you knew. Prince Charming. With this latest VR headset, the Facebook-owned Oculus has finally produced a machine that feels like a standalone gaming console rather than an accessory and makes a full-fat virtual gaming experience accessible to non-enthusiasts for the first time. The Oculus Quest, Mr. T can probably pick up a video, image of that, is a self-contained unit that does not require to be tethered to an expensive PC or console and doesn't need external cameras or sensors to track you. It's wireless, so you could throw it in your backpack and use it in any suitably safe place, yet it's complex enough to deliver performance and tracking far above what you get on a smartphone-powered VR or previous wireless headsets. And someone who did this article, someone who's used and owned a lot of VR kits, grabbing the Quest and just putting it on to start playing was, in a word, transformative. Jumping into some of the favourite VR games, like the peerlessly badass Super Hot, you're John Wick, except time moves at the speed you move, letting you dodge bullets and plan assaults, or hilarious Job Simulator, find out what it's like to be a human in the early 2000s before robots took over the world. Found the lack of cables and flawless motion tracking liberating. Whether you're dropping on one knee to reach out and to elevate a door to catch a shotgun, or standing on tippy toes to drop some crumpets and teabag into a toaster, it was an experience and not the limitations of the system. Since it's mobile, the 649 Quest is obviously not as powerful as high-end PC you might use with something like the Oculus Rift S. And if you compare the two setups directly, you doubtless know many games on the Quest are less graphically complex. But not only is the Quest thousands of dollars cheaper once you factor in the cost of a PC, its wireless nature will make low fidelity a totally fine trade-off for most people. The most important factor for VR is the consistency of the game's performance and the motion tracking, which have been rock solid in all the games on the Quest. So $649, and you don't need a very expensive PC. A lot of people are like, I have to buy a new $2,000 worth of PC with a very grunty graphics card to be able to play anything decently. But with this, it's all built in, so you don't have to worry about it.
I'm sorry, I thought it was cutting edge and new technology, but apparently AA batteries are still a thing. Really?
There'd be rechargeable ones, though.
They couldn't put lithium cells in there that charge off USB like everything else?
That would be nice, right?
Well, given that your headset has a limited battery life because it's running off batteries, all you had to do is make the hand controllers last a little bit longer,
Yep.
and all charge at the same time. Like, not really that much of a
Or
stretch.
even plug the headset into the power and the controllers into the headset.
Well, even if they used key charging.
Yep.
But yeah, but it's yeah. I was actually watching a guy on YouTube do this the other day, and he was quite impressed with it for what it is.
Apparently, Beat Saber's really good on it.
Mm.
I would like to do something without. If they had this out last year, I definitely would have got it instead of my Rift because I have to have the three sensors mounted at the roof level, all aiming down, and then trail out a track of the Guardian Wall area that you can stand in. And the third sensor is 2 degrees off. Go up there and turn it, and then try it again. There's that no, the first one's now pointing this. It's a bit of a pain, and then having cables all over the room and paying extra for an extra sensor and all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of mucking around. Plus, you need two USB. I think it's two USB 2 ports and one USB 3, or two USB and one 2. And it takes up all these ports on your computer that you also have to buy a fast computer with a good graphics card to be able to handle it. And you just get this and you do all of it without all this hassle. It's amazing.
It's not a bad price, really. What do we say? Also, it's $649 for the 64 gig version, or $799 for the 128 gig version. So I mean, that's fairly decent.
And they said it plays the stuff from Steam.
Yeah, which given that what the one you've got was damn near that price, and it's not a self-contained unit, like
Yep.
That's a pretty decent way of doing it.
And it has AA batteries as well.
I had to buy some the other day. I think you're going to buy a pack of double A's and a pack of triple A's because it turns out that every toy that my boy owns is either a double A or a triple A.
Don't you just get them free from work?
Only we've remembered it all. Well, the problem is I never remember to get them when I'm at work. It's not until I get home that I remember I need them.
You're like,
so I end up going down the shop and buying them. So, yes. I never said I was bright.
No, that was your twin, wasn't it?
So, all right. So I'm going to talk about this long, drawn-out thing that's been going on with Huawei, or however the hell you call them. That Chinese company that starts with a H and ends in an I.
Huawei.
That's it. I can't pronounce it. I know I can't, so I don't bother anymore. But so basically, for people who don't know, Google's basically banned them, said you can't use the operating system anymore. There's now trade embargoes in the States saying that they can't trade with any American companies. And they've actually been banned in Australia since when's this article? Yeah, so about Christmas was when they actually first got banned in Australia. Now, there's many different versions of what's going on here and why. The short answer is go back 12 months and there was an issue where the FBI wanted to access data on an iPhone and they couldn't, and Apple wouldn't supply them with the backdoor key to do it. So they had already got the data and were just trying to legitimize how they'd done it. So they did security tests on all these phones, and every other manufacturer except Huawei gave them basically the keys to the back door effectively and said, this is how you can get around our security in our devices. And they refused to do it. And so what the Australian government did at the start of the year, or end of last year, was basically said, you're too much of a security threat to be trading in this country, so you're no longer allowed to trade here. Basically meaning that because your device is secure and we can't spy on you, we don't want you here. And that's, when you cut through all the crap, that's at the end of the day what it is. They're not bowing to the government, so the government's dominating their supposed power. And then a couple of weeks ago, America followed suit with, for whatever reason, they suddenly decided to implement this thing, and saying that they can no longer trade with American companies and American partners, or they can't use, they're not going to be for sale in America and stuff like that.
And they're removing
which,
the
as far as
Google Play Store from all the devices too, so you can't install anything.
yeah, basically, which is not really a big deal because you can actually download the Play Store API and install the Play Store, and then it works. But the irony is that if you've got a 4G modem or you've got a dongle, chances are it's a Huawei dongle because they have been one of the biggest suppliers for years. So even every government-owned mobile PC that they have that uses the internet in the wild, it's going to have most likely a Huawei dongle. So that's quite funny.
And who is going to go and replace all this? Is Telstra going to give you a new free dongle to replace the Huawei one?
You mean the Huawei ones that they have?
They don't have any others to replace it with, do they?
They don't. That's all they're using. But it's purely just a little pissing contest. That's all it is. You can still order the devices off, off Amazon, off eBay, off AliExpress. You can still order them without a problem at all. They work perfectly fine. They support all their frequencies. They do everything they need to do. They're actually one of the fastest 5G devices on the market. The other thing is, there's, as of January 2019, domestically in China, Huawei and their sister group, which is called Honor, which is kind of like their home brand version. They're debadged, slightly down-spec'd phones, but they're still Huawei. So between both of those, they held 40% of the market share in China. This is just domestically. They shipped 780 Huawei's and 613 million Honors in a month. So then they only exported 2.8 million units. So they don't actually care.
And they're going to release their own operating system for their own phones, aren't they?
So 6.1 and 6.01 million units they shipped. My bad. And then they've actually been, for a couple of years, since I sort of got interested in them a couple of years ago, they were talking even back then of developing their own OS because Google doesn't really do everything they want it to do. It's not fast enough. It's too laggy for what they wanted real time operations to occur, and it couldn't do it. So they've been talking about it for a while, which, let's face it, at the end of the day, everything's Linux based, which is Unix based anyway, which is all open source. So it's not like it's hard for them to develop an operating system.
They should have got BIOS.
Or what was Nokia's WebOS? Was that Nokia?
There was a HP WebOS that got sold to LG.
Right. Yeah.
It was Palm.
So, what was Nokia using? Java, were they? The new one is Asher or something is a new one, but they had one before that. I can't think what it was called now. But so look, it's, as I said, it's purely a pissing contest at this stage, just to see who's going to back down first. But they don't care in the slightest. It does. Symbian, that's what I'm thinking of.
I named a cat Symbian that we had like 10 years ago. I had it on my Motorola A1000. You remember those phones?
Yes.
Touch screen with the little tiny stylus that you slip into the side of it.
So basically they don't really care about exporting. They're not fast if they don't export phones. It doesn't matter. Their local market share is so high, if you actually look at that list, I'll bring that list up so you can see it. There's actually, you can see there that Huawei and Honor are at the top of the list. Yep. Then Oppo and Vivo, and then Apple has 9% market share. So yeah, that's quite funny. But it's kind of like the same as you got to admit, like, you've been able to buy the phones here, but you can't get a lot of the aftermarket stuff for them and spare batteries and stuff like that. Nobody carries it, so you've got to get them on eBay and that anyway. So you might as well just get the phone on eBay to start with. It's not going to matter that much,
I wonder if Kogan would get around it.
Well, that's what they rebadge them, don't they?
Probably.
I think that's what they use. I think. I have to have a look, yeah. But I don't think it'll be a big deal. And the funny thing is, they create so much technology that is ahead of the game that other manufacturers are using their components anyway.
Yep.
So, like they if they're not selling devices directly, they're still going to sell componentry anyway.
Yep.
But it's kind of like there's in the battery industry, there's a company called Emeron. Now, Emeron is an Indian battery, and they're bulletproof, reliable. They're one of the best batteries on the market, but nobody's ever heard of it because they don't bother advertising here. Our market is so small. Like, Emeron have a 90% plus stranglehold on the Indian market with whatever their population is. So they don't care about the million batteries a year that get sold outside the country. It just doesn't worry them, And it's exactly the same sort of thing. The only thing that's going to hurt is local businesses, because the local businesses can't stock the phone. Somebody can't walk in and go, "Here, I want to buy that from you." That's the only person it's going to affect. It's not going to affect anyone else. So I don't really know what they're... But yeah, basically it's because they said no. And remember BlackBerry 10 years ago? Best phone on the market, most secure phone, up to date. Their technology was great. They had features that nobody else had. They had the security. They were, they were the president's phone. Like, that's what was being used because they were so secure. And then one of the governments went, "Hey, we need to get access to your phone," and they went, "No." And then suddenly they were blacklisted worldwide because they wouldn't supply their backdoor end of the phone. I think in the end they gave it to, was a Johannesburg company or something.
Yeah,
I think it was to roll out the security features or something. But like, it killed them.
Yeah,
because they were
too secure.
Well, that was the problem. Their market was a security market, so they either had to remain secure and lose the general population and really have an incredibly niche product, and then face being banned and blacklisted, which is what basically happened. Or they had to release their key, lose their security rating that they had, become a general phone, lose that niche market, and still be shunned by everyone else anyway. So they were screwed no matter what they did.
Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
So I don't know. Look, I don't think it's going to be one of those things, because there's another company called Hikvision. Hikvision. Hikvision.
Components.
The US is not a Chinese company. The US is blacklisting them as well. Now, Hikvision's been doing security, both private and public. They've been doing everything from baby cam monitors right up to airport facial recognition stuff. Like, they do the full range. And exactly the same thing with them. The official story is the US government was saying that they're issuing an alert saying that China's made the Chinese company might be using their products to send sensitive information back to the manufacturer in China. But officially, it was, once again, they wouldn't release backdoor access keys so the government couldn't get in, and so they called them a security risk, so they banned them. Yep. And exactly the same thing was happening with the DJI drone,
yep,
Phantom drones and stuff like that. Exactly the same thing happened. They had an incredibly secure platform, and they were, if the data you record on that was pretty hard to get unless you had the access, you couldn't really access it. And same thing, because they wouldn't allow third parties in to collect the data off that they were collecting, they'll then call a security risk, and they'll ban from selling.
Isn't it funny how if you're too secure, you become a security risk?
Yeah.
But if you're open and let anyone hack into stuff and do whatever they want, then you're happy with keep them around.
Yeah, well, when we look at Windows. One of the most unsecure platforms out there, and yet everybody uses it because everyone feels safe using it because it isn't secure.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. So, look, I don't know. I don't understand what they're playing at. My biggest thing is you can't afford, as a country, you can't afford to keep doing that, especially Australia. We don't make technology. We don't make stuff here.
We don't make anything.
We can't keep banning the sale of products because we don't make anything. So we have to allow products from overseas to be sold here. Otherwise, we just won't have it. We'll be like, what is it, Cuba?
Yep.
Where they haven't imported anything since the 70s because there's been an import ban. Like, we'll end up exactly like Cuba. We'll go from prosperity and not doing too bad to collapsing on itself because we can't import anything anymore.
I bet Huawei's competitors are pretty happy with the ban.
I don't think it worries them. Once again, like your export market's such a small percentage. I don't think it matters.
No, but I mean, if the number one biggest one is now not able to export to Australia or the US, their sales are going to go up.
But are they though? I mean, are they going to suffer the same fate? I mean,
We'll have to see. It depends on where it's made. Everything's made in China. That's the problem. What about iPhone?
Yeah, that's right. Well,
they're going to open up their iPhone manufacturing facility in South Sydney.
Yeah, let's see.
Nope.
I don't know. It's just the whole system's screwed up from end to end. So that's what happens when you let politicians run the place.
Yes, sadly. Minecraft Earth is going to get compared to Pokemon Go a lot. Both are mobile games that tie into major franchises. Both require to go out into the real world, and both have all the ingredients to become massive hits. What sets the two apart is that in Minecraft Earth, augmented reality visuals are an integral part of the experience rather than entertaining an optional extra. And the person who's doing this review, when they were handed a phone loaded with an early version of Minecraft Earth at a recent event in Washington, was taken to a relatively empty room to begin an adventure before joined in the same experience by other people on their phones. They could see what the other one was in the world by the gamer tags above their heads and the tools they were holding, and the positions were exactly right. More than that, the blocky build they were working on was in the exact right place for everyone, and moving the phones around gave us different but consistent views of our creative world. That's leaps and bounds ahead of any other AR system. They had to decide whether to kill and eat the sheep or keep them around for breeding, and after a long discussion, they found someone else had already killed them. They also had to battle skeletons and then collect what they could from the adventure. They'll be similar to public adventures available when Minecraft Earth launches, with anybody able to show up and take part. It won't work with every phone, but Microsoft estimates there's already more than 2 billion compatible devices out in the world, so the potential is huge. When walking out around in the world, you can use the app to fish in lakes, cut down trees, and mine blocks. Every resource has an origin. You collected that new muddy pig from the park you visited in Adelaide, or got the red brick from a mine in the Macedon Ranges. Your items have provenance, and that makes them special. When you head home, you'll have access to your personal build plate to construct whatever you like. You can share the link to your creations, or just invite friends to your house to build and play with you. Your plate is small and fits easy on the table. You can trade blocks or other items with friends, or you can pool your resources to build something amazing, but what's left on that build plate belongs to the owner of that plate. When it was his turn to build, he destroyed everything on the phone owner's build plate and then tapped randomly to place well over 2,000 blocks, and then crashed the demo. As a perfectly example what you might not want to let others do when they play in your game. There's no undo, it's just like life. But that's build mode. In play mode, your creations come to life and you can let others into your creation without worrying they'll kill it. Not only can you play in your builds at a much bigger scale and walk around the castle, but you can invite friends and they can blow stuff up and cause general mayhem without disturbing your build. That's how you can create spectacular escape rooms or share your red block machines with friends and strangers without fearing your resources. What do you think, Mr. T? Give it a go.
Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. I think it's going to work on one of the way I understand it. Basically, any phone that's like quad core or better pretty much should work.
Yep.
But yeah, I was just watching I haven't seen this trailer for it. This is a different one, but it does kind of remind me, yeah, like that. That was the thing with Pokemon Go. I'm like, okay, well, they've managed to do this, but there's so much more that they could have done with it, and this kind of
takes it to the next level.
This is what I expected Pokemon Go to become.
Yep.
But it's a great idea. Like, interesting to see how it actually functions in the real world. When with a lot of people who end up doing it, but I like the concept that you collect different resources from different areas, and those resources have different values and whatever. I think that really helps.
And we have to say that Minecraft is celebrating their 10 years anniversary.
Is that 10 years from alpha or 10 years from the public release? I can't remember.
I think it was one of the alpha ones.
Because I know it was a couple of years apart from the actual release. Where are we? Yeah, okay, so don't type in Minecraft Party into Google. Apparently, that's a bad idea. Microsoft says it'll celebrate its 10th anniversary without Notch. So, those who don't know, Notch is the original developer of Minecraft. He's the
They
one
don't like some of the things he said.
Well, I mean, he's entitled to say them. He doesn't own the game anymore. He can say whatever he wants, and they.
Yep.
The game's gone a completely different direction to the way he wanted it to go initially, but he kind of bowed out a few years ago anyway because the game wasn't really. He couldn't imagine where he wanted to take the game as opposed to where the game was ending up anyway. So,
and he'd also said so many times that he was sick of the hate he was getting from people. Like, I said you should do this. Why haven't you done that in Microsoft?
Yeah.
It needs this. I think you should do this. You suck. We hate you because you won't do our idea in Minecraft. Why did you do this way? It should have been done that way. And he's just like, this. It was like the guy was Phil Fish or whatever that made the nice 3D game for Xbox, and everyone bitched and moaned about it so much that he's like, I'm never going to do any more games ever for anyone. Like, this is a wonderful game. People love it. Yeah, but all the hate that he got for so many years, and he's like, I just can't deal with it. So, Notch got out.
Yep. Yeah, I can't say I blame him. But yeah, so it's... Look, I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait till it gets to the point where we can actually... you can actually sort of sign up for it, and even if it is a beta or whatever. I mean, as it was beta, Minecraft was in beta for 2 or 3 years, before it became...
Yeah, we joined... I had a look at, first time I looked at it, I was like, what the heck is this? This is dumb. I tried playing the web online version, and they had a small demo of it. You could, build your hut, do some mining and chop down trees and stuff, and then this green thing came up behind me, or I didn't see it, and suddenly went boom! I was like, well, I just spent all this time building all this stuff and mining and chopping down trees, and it's all gone. I hate this game. I'm never going to play it.
Yep.
A few months later.
10 years later, still
ended up doing some podcasts with some other crazy person. I don't know.
The other thing I'm not sure about with the Minecraft Earth, how the Nether's going to work and how the mining's going to work, because
for Earth, maybe they don't have the Nether in the Earth.
Well, there was part of the trailer where you see Nether brick.
Okay.
I don't know, but we'll see. It's something to look forward to. I wish I could find out. Like, you can sign up and receive updates. Actually, I am signed up to receive updates and stuff, but there's nothing useful coming out of that yet.
Yep.
But basically, as long as your device runs Android 7 or iOS 10, you're pretty much sorted.
Should be doing that by now anyway.
Just about anything that's quad core or better, and the Android shouldn't have a problem running that. So
I'm still deciding what I want for my next phone. I don't know if I should go for S10 Galaxy. The 5Gs have just been announced for Galaxy S10, so they should be coming out in the next month or two. But there's not a lot of other stuff in the Telstra store that I'm interested in. I really want a Xiaomi foldable phone, but that's going to be years away, I reckon, especially after the debacle with the Samsung Fold falling to bits and breaking and stuff not working. But they pulled them off the market and rolled back their announcement and said they're going to be doing it in a couple of months. They found out what the problem is and how to fix it permanently. So we'll have to wait and see. But my local Telstra store said, no, nobody's going to get them, so don't worry about it. We're not going to get it. You can't buy it from us.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
if they do fix it, who knows?
So Australia coin. We all, well, we most
You
of us
know
have
what I
heard
was
of it.
going to say before? We're putting in the stories of other podcasts and stuff that we've been interested in. We've done the Minecraft one. We talked about VR stuff. We haven't done a podcast on that, but we're interested. And I was like, oh, I should have got something to do with crypto, and that would have been the trifecta. And sure enough, here comes Mr. T to save the day.
So those who don't know, Australia coin was launched last year. Yeah, to celebrate Australia Day basically. But Dave and the guys released it as Australia's version of a cryptocurrency. So it's called Australia Coin. It's plodding along. It's been we've just had the first what they're calling the halvening, basically where the you hit a point in the algorithms where once a certain amount of coins has been released, the algorithm effectively doubles, so the rewards become half as many, which has the benefit of increasing the value of the coin.
Yep.
As it becomes rarer and rarer. So
Somebody
the next
wrote
one.
a Fitbit Australia Coin app.
Oh, okay.
Discount code ATH19 Aussie Byte.
So I use mine on my phone predominantly because it's the easiest. There is a web wallet and there's a PC based one as well, but I find the one on the phone just sort of works nice.
Yep.
If I can remember my login.
You can log in with your fingerprint, which is why I like it.
I don't, because my fingerprint sensor doesn't work. So it was a hell of a time. I just set it up, dropped my phone, broke the fingerprint scanner, and then I had to figure out how to unset it up.
I switched phones and forgot to back up and remember what all my stuff was so I could set up the wallet again on my new phone. So I had a bunch of coins. They're out there somewhere. I can't access them.
I got 5,457 coins.
Ah, nice.
Currently worth about $12.
Yep.
But so you can go to the website australiacoin.org. You can see when the next halvening happens, which is in 418 days, so a bit over a year. You can see the current trend on what it's worth. But the other thing I wanted to mention was that Australia Coin, there's a legit Australia Coin shop, so you can buy stuff online. You can buy stuff online directly from the shop. There's also Australia POS, which is your FPOS, but for crypto.
It should be an AusPOS.
Yeah. So you can accept crypto directly.
Nah.
But the shops, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
So you can buy online now as well, which is pretty cool. You can also, it tells you how to go ahead and set up your online wallet. So you basically transfer the money from whatever wallet you use, in my case, a mobile wallet, transfer it from there to my online one, buy and sell whatever I want to do.
Yep.
And then transfer it back to wherever you find it. I mean, you can leave it online if you wanted to. I just find that it works better.
Yep.
It works better. But yeah, there's I'm trying to remember where to get to the store. Actually, it's a different website now that I think about it. But yeah, so you can actually go and buy stuff, and there's a few businesses. There's a list. I think it's on the app. There's actually a list of stores that support Australia Coin.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's happening. It's still an active thing. The community is still fairly active. They've still got regular updates on the Facebook page and stuff like that. So
cool.
Keep an eye out for them, and you can mine them. They are a mineable coin, although it's quite hard to do. It does take a lot of effort, but it is definitely something that can be done. And I think it's over half of the. I'd have to double check with one of the boys, but I think it's over half of the coins have been released now. So,
all right,
they're becoming more rare, which means the value is going to be going up.
Yep. If you go to aussiebyte.com, see if you can scroll to the Australia Coin Fitbit app. You could show. You stick your wallet on your watch, and then people can scan it and send you Australia Coin. OZIBYTE.com.
That's what I thought. some bizarre reason,
Some cool dude did some programming.
it's not.
Enough people have been buying it too. It's a popular one, more popular than I would have thought.
I think my internet is trying its hardest to explode at this point because I can't. Yeah, that's not good.
Let me have a look at my stats.
Can't access any website at the moment.
Where are we? Australia, 54 sales. How about that?
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I mean, given that, when you consider crypto is relatively small in this country.
Yep. There is another one called Cryptoc, which works for any cryptocurrency, and that's had 33 sales so far. But if you get in there and use the discount code.
Hey, there we go. It works now. I just had to go via Google.
There you go. So what happens is you can see down the bottom there, it's got QR wallet. So in the settings on your Fitbit, you put your wallet address in there. It sends it through, and when you tap on the screen where it says QR wallet, it'll pop up the QR code, and someone can scan that with the Australia Coin app, send you some stuff, and then tap anywhere else, and it goes back to the normal watch.
Nice.
You can see photo frame is the recent one with our dog on there. So you take a photo, upload it, and put a little frame around it, put whatever colours you want and stuff like that. Weather text has got info about upcoming weather for the day. There's me bowling.
Hey, I know him. Wasn't he out of what's that show? With the Fonz? Happy Days.
Happy Days. Richie Cunningham.
That's him, yeah.
I wasn't born with black hair. It was like blonde, and then it changed to this brownie colour, and then it went black.
I think most babies work like that. That's sort of thing. So, but yeah, alrighty. What else do we have?
Google says a small number of its enterprise customers mistakenly had their password stored in its system in plain text. The search giant disclosed the exposure Tuesday, but declined to say exactly how many enterprise customers were affected. We recently notified a subset of our enterprise G Suite customers that some passwords were stored in our encrypted internal systems unhashed, said Google Vice President of Engineering Suzanne Frey. Passwords are typically scrambled using hashing algorithm to prevent them from being read by humans. G Suite administrators are able to manually upload, set, recover new user passwords for company users, which helps in situations where new employees are onboarded. But Google said it discovered in April that the way it implemented password setting and recovery for its enterprise offering in 2005 was faulty and improperly stored a copy of the password in plain text. Google has since removed the feature. Well, that's a great idea, Google. No consumer Gmail accounts were affected by the security lapse. To be clear, these passwords remained in our secure encrypted infrastructure. This issue has been fixed, and we've seen no evidence of improper access or misuse of the affected passwords. Google said it also discovered a second security lapse earlier this month as it was troubleshooting new G Suite customer signups. The company said since January it was improperly storing a subset of unhashed G Suite passwords on its internal systems for up to 2 weeks. Those systems, Google said, were only accessible to a limited number of authorized Google staff. The issue has been fixed, and again we've seen no evidence of improper access to or misuse of the affected passwords. Google said it's notified G Suite administrators to warn of the password security lapse and will reset account passwords for those who've yet to change. You think Google would be better than that?
I like this particular article here. I just discovered, there's been many of these. Well, why no? Twitter advised all 330 million users to change its password back in March. Facebook stores hundreds of millions of passwords in plain text. And up to 20,000 of its employees could have accessed them. Instagram had the first that Facebook's breach had actually affected millions of Instagram users too. So don't worry, it's not just Google cocking up.
It'll be fine. Or just assume all your passwords and email accounts, personal details, social security numbers, home address, age, etc. is all out there.
See, hash solves all those problems.
Yeah.
If everyone was hashed, If everyone was hashed, you wouldn't have this problem. Well, think about it.
Hi.
If everyone was stoned, no one would care that they could read
No,
your password, would they?
nobody cares anyway.
So, but yeah, just there's nothing you can do.
Rookie mistake.
Admittedly, on the upside though, it's not like it was stored. It was stored
On
in
an
plain text.
AWS bucket server where
Yeah,
most people keep their unencrypted stuff easily
yeah,
accessed.
that's it. At least it was stored in within a secure infrastructure. Like it's not like it was just left on a desk somewhere.
Yep.
It was within Google's secure infrastructure, which being at that end of Google, it's going to be pretty secure because that's at their business end. They're going to take their privacy a bit more seriously, I think.
Yep.
I don't care about yours as long as their privacy.
Unless your name's Huawei.
So, now we all know about Kickstarter. It's one of those things that where if
Makes
you
your
need
motorbike
money,
go.
yeah. Well, I don't think motorbikes have had Kickstarters on them for 30 years. um, but yeah, if you got something that you think people will like, you go there, you start up a page, and if people like it, they'll give you money, and then you can go and develop it. Yeah,
And then it turns out like the Ouya and completely dies after they make several $1 million and they fold up.
it happens a lot. It is one of those deals, whereas it's taken with a certain amount of your own risk involved. A lot like there's a couple of others that do a sort of similar sort of thing, but there are a lot of cases where companies just buy a mansion and a yacht and you never hear from them again.
Yep.
But Snapmaker in this case, their original Snapmaker. So Snapmaker does 3D printers. That's their predominant income source. Now their original Snapmaker was crowdfunded, and it did a pretty good job. It was quite successful. So when they released their version 2, people were eager to get on that. And it was a thing. It was a bigger footprint. It had 3-in-1, so it did, as well as 3D printing. It did laser etching and a few other bits and pieces. And so what they did was they opened up their Kickstarter and said, okay, it's going to cost you $700 or whatever, and here's the packages and plans and whatever. So what happened was they basically broke Kickstarter. Within something like 70 seconds of them uploading it, they'd reached their goal. Within 7 minutes, they'd reached $1 million. And within 10 minutes, they'd reached $2 million.
Wow.
And they're currently sitting at $3.5 million or something, like with a week to go.
That's insane.
So, yeah, they were such a popular thing that people wanted what they were offering, and already had such a good backing and such a good following and such a good company. The second that they
if I didn't already have a Creality Ender 3,
yeah, I mean the second they went live, they just absolutely annihilated Kickstarter. It just they hold like 5 funding records or something now.
I'm sorry, Kickstarter, we're just too popular. We can't help it. It's not our fault. We do good stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. They I'm just trying to remember what the original one was. But yeah, it was something like $100,000 or something was their goal.
Yep.
And they reached that in matters of in a minute or so, and then
even faster and bigger than Pebble.
And 7 minutes later, $1 million. Like, could you imagine this being the economist or the money manager at the company going, "Oh yeah, we got 100,000. Oh, we've reached our goal. Oh, we've just
doubled our goal.
We've just can somebody just check? Is this right, or is someone having a prank? Like, are you guys pranking me, or what's going on?" Like, so well, that was pretty cool. So yeah, there's actually a lot of new stuff coming up. They've just had the big makers market in the States, and they've had a lot of big 3D technology news has been pushed through there. So there's going to be some pretty cool updates in that soon.
Nice.
So
I got a couple of short stories for me to finish off.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to talk about something yellow and square, weren't you?
Well, come to that, but I got something that you might be interested in.
Yes. Bring it.
Today, the first stable version of privacy-focused browser Tor Project is now available in the Google Play Store for Android.
Mm.
The new mobile browser integrates with the Tor protocol stack into a standalone browser and replaces Orfox as a main way to navigate the Tor network from an Android device. Tor project developers have been working on this browser for 8 months now, since September 2018, when they first released an alpha version for public testing. We made a priority to reach the rising number of users who only browse the web with a mobile device. These users often faced heavy surveillance and censorship online, so it's critical for us to reach them. We made sure there are no proxy bypasses, first-party isolation is enabled to protect you from cross-site tracking, and most of the fingerprinting defenses are working.
Nice. So, basically, for those who don't know, Tor is
the Onion Router network.
Yeah, so it's basically an untraceable browser out of the box. So it blocks trackers. It prevents people from monitoring traffic.
They don't know where your IP address came from, so they can't track you by that.
So it doesn't allow fingerprinting. So it doesn't. With a lot of websites, they have fingerprinting. So if you go from one site to another, they can track in and out times and
they know based on what version browser you've got, what version operating system the browser says you've got, what resolution your screen is, all this sort of stuff, and it sends it through, and then they can track who the person is.
Yeah, and so it's basically Tor browser is almost untraceable as it is. If you use Tor with a VPN, it is basically untraceable. There's really no way at all you can be traced. But traditionally on phones, you've had to rely on the network you're browsing to be secure. So if you've got a VPN set up at home where you can securely browse, and that's one thing. Otherwise, you've got all the same parameters you'd have using any browser. A lot of people think incognito mode helps, but all incognito mode does is stop the cookies from accumulating and things like that.
And the history. It's
basically called the pawn button. Basically,
pawn mode.
So yeah, you go into incognito, you visit the sites you want to visit. Once you've closed it, that particular history of that data is gone. But
your ISP still got it. DNS servers have got it.
And if you've been through your home
Facebook
router that does data logging and stuff, it's still on.
Google's got it.
Yeah. So Tor will stop that. Run Tor with a VPN, which I quite often run Tor through a VPN for torrenting because why not? Even though really that's kind of almost overkill for torrenting. You technically just run a VPN and get away with it, but I just run the Tor because it's there.
Yeah.
It allows you to access slightly non-standard websites, shall we say. There's .onion websites. You can only access them with a Tor browser, and they may or may not be illegal in your country depending on which particular sites you're going to. Yep. They call them there's two. There's the
standard. You mean people who are on Telstra could go to the Pirate Bay finally?
Yeah, exactly. Well, with a VPN you can do that anyway. But there's three internets that. There's the internet that everybody knows and enjoys on a daily basis. That's the normal one. Then there's the grey net and the black net. Effectively, the grey net is not necessarily bad. It's just a lot of the things like Pirate Bay, for example, that have been blocked from a standard internet. It allows you to access that. And then there's the black net. That's the deep, dark black web. Like that's the one you've got to be careful of. People send you decapitated rabbits in the mail and all sorts of stuff. So that's a interesting place to stay away from. But if you run a virtual machine, like if you are worried about, say you do want to do torrenting of shows that you should be able to watch some other way, but you can't. If you wanted to be 100% secure and not worry about ever being done, you could do with a VPN. Or for a second layer of protection, you can run Tor with a VPN. Or for third layer of protection, you could run Tor with a VPN through a wow, the word's just completely gone out of my brain. What's the thing where you have a virtual machine? That's what I'm looking for. So you could set up a dedicated virtual machine that literally has nothing but Linux on it, no identifiable features, no nothing. run that through a VPN, then run the Tor browser on that, and you're
There you go.
about as close to untouchable as you're going to get without putting a lot of effort into it.
Yep.
So it's but it's also really fast because it doesn't load up the CSS scripting. It doesn't load up a lot of the stuff that's embedded in websites. Tor browsing is actually a really fast way to browse. It literally just has all the basics of the website without all the fancy stuff. Pages load really fast. You don't get bombarded with ads because it doesn't load all that side of it. So on a device, especially on a mobile platform where you're paying for the data you're using, having a browser that's going to strip all that information out and just deliver the clean website is not a bad thing.
Yep.
By any means.
Another quick one. TikTok maker is going to take on Spotify. Chinese conglomerate ByteDance, valued at more than $75 billion, is working on a music streaming service. Two sources familiar with the matter told TechCrunch. The company, which operates a popular app TikTok, has held discussions with music labels in recent months to launch the app as soon as the end of this quarter. One of the sources said the app will offer premium and ad-supported free tier. And Bloomberg, which first wrote about the premium app, reported ByteDance is targeting emerging markets with its new music app.
World's most valuable startups as of November 2018. ByteDance, 75 billion. Uber, 72 billion.
Wow.
Didi Chuxing, 56 billion. Airbnb, 29 billion. And SpaceX, 21 billion.
Crazy.
So that's like...
Want to replace your Spotify? You might have something coming soon, but it's from China, so it might get blocked by the Australian government.
Yeah, that's it. You can't actually use it. I mean, I guess it's only fair given that China block everyone else. So
yeah,
that's what's going to happen, won't it?
We're going to block you right back. And as Mr. T was showing there, a little prematurely because he didn't know I had another story I was going to sneak in. A handheld video game business has been dominated by Nintendo since the days of the Game Boy. Sony had a fair crack at it, but has pulled out of the portable market, with Nintendo now dominating the handheld video game by itself. With the Switch, it left us wondering what else to step up. Enter the Playdate, a new yellow-coloured device created by the Oregon-based software and video company Panic. If you're not familiar with the name, this company recently started publishing games. They've been doing software for about 10 years. The first game it came out with was Firewatch, and it's also handling the upcoming release, the untitled Goose Game. The Playdate includes a control panel, an A and B button, 2.7-inch black and white high-resolution screen, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a USB-C port, rechargeable battery, headphone jack, and a crank. The crank puts a whole new spin on games, and some titles will use it exclusively, so it doesn't charge up the battery. It's actually a controller in a game. One of these games is Cranken's Time Travel Adventure, a game created by Kaita Takashi, best known designer of the Katamari Damacy. Other designers include Zach Gage, who made Ridiculous Fishing, and you can imagine winding around your fishing line with that on your fishing rod. Bennett Foddy, who made VVVVV and Ape Out, and Sean Inman, who made The Last Rocket. Included with this hardware is a game service. Playdate users will receive 12 games over 12 weeks. These games will range from short, long, experimental to traditional. Panic promises it won't end there. The price will be $149 US and will include the first 12 games. So every Monday morning, your device will light up a little LED that starts flashing to let you know a new game is mysteriously downloaded. You won't know what it is or how it plays or anything, and then you just start it up and you can start playing this new game. The device is scheduled to arrive early 2020, and for more information, you can visit the official website play.date. So much more to come with funds and surprises, future games, and new ways to make them. So, and then that's just the first season of 12 games. They'll have, if it proves rather popular, then they'll be bringing out more and more games in the future. So kind of a novelty idea there.
They missed a trick there. That crank handle should have had a little generator on it as well.
Yes.
They could have charged the batteries. Look, as I was saying, like it's one of those things. It'll sell absolutely to the Geek Squad, particularly. It's no different than the Mini Nintendo, the Mini Sega. It's going to sell.
On my Commodore 64 Mini over there, I was playing the other night.
Yeah, exactly. The question is though, is it going to be? What's the longevity of it like? You know, what's the playability? Are you going to keep playing it? Or is it one of those deals that once you've been through all the games a couple of times, he's going to just put up on the cupboard? And, I mean, the fact that it has new games being brought out for it is definitely an advantage. A lot of those other little minis, that's it. The game's on them. What you're stuck with, you can't do anything with it, which is stupid. Because for the sake of putting a USB port in or an SD slot, they could have had infinite.
Comes with 50 games pre-installed, and that's all you ever get.
Yeah, and that's kind of this day and age. I mean, people don't have the attention span for that sort of thing.
No.
Realistically, that's what it comes down to. It'll be fun, and I know a lot of people are going to go and buy it. I just would imagine in 12 months' time there's going to be a lot on eBay too.
Yep.
I'm guessing it uses. I didn't actually read the specs on it, but I'm guessing it has Wi-Fi. I would imagine. Yeah,
Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
So that's where the new games will automatically download Monday morning through Wi-Fi, and then you turn on your device and suddenly there's a new game there to play.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, with having the black and white screen, the battery life's going to be quite substantial. So, that would be one advantage to it. But are you really going to carry that and a phone and your wallet and, you know what I mean? Like, with everything that's available on your phone, I don't really see that being a thing. I don't know. We'll see.
It's made by... The device was designed by a company called Teenage Engineering. So if you have a look at teenage.engineering website, you can see they've made a lot of devices. People like controllers, sequencers, multimedia sequencers, but they're very, very, very high quality devices. It's like beyond Apple spec. And the screen on the Playdate is going to be super crisp. You're not going to have grid lines like a CRT TV like you do with Game Boy and stuff like that. It's super crisp. They don't need a backlight because it's really good quality screen. Even outside in the bright sunlight, it's really easy to see the gaming screen and stuff like that. So
I would say it's probably going to be the same screen they use in these. Because the screens they use in these things are absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen these. These are the sound generators.
Yep.
They've got 15 preset sounds, and you can change them and whatever. And they're you can even buy them in kit, and you can assemble them yourself, or you can buy them pre-assembled. They're amazing little units for what they do. The drum sequences and robot sequences, and they're just sound effects generators. Basically, they're tiny. They're only size of a pack of cigarettes or whatever, but the screen in that was insane for what it was. So probably something similar to that, one would imagine.
Yep.
That's what as soon as I heard the name, they're what I knew the company as, because I've always wanted one of those, but I refused to pay $100 for one. But that's what I've always wanted.
If you had the money, that's the one that you'd get because the quality is so great.
Yeah, I mean, it's pure. Once again, it's really whilst you could technically use it as a actual device, it's more of a toy in reality, but it's still something that's always been pretty cool. Same as this. I mean, this is they've got these modular pocket operators. So this is like a sound effects generator / amplifier / MIDI, everything all built into one. Into one unit. They run off batteries and they're designed to be portable. It's a sequencer and a mixer and everything all built in.
If you're a musician or a DJ, just what you want.
And it's basically it's a cardboard back end effectively, and it's got electrical components in it. But the whole thing is assembled. You buy it flat pack and you assemble it yourself.
Yeah.
They do some fantastic stuff. I've really enjoyed their stuff for quite a while. So, but I have no doubt that the quality of their cardboard, not cardboard, bloody acrylic is what I was looking for.
Yep.
I've got no doubt that the products are going to be top notch. I just don't know about the replayability.
Device itself, yeah. Could be something fun for people to play with for a while, though.
$150 US, so it's going to be 230 or something Australian.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for.
Some people are like, why don't I just buy a Switch? Well, if you want the Switch kind of thing, but this is just something niche and different. Some people might like anyway. The price maybe come down after they sell a bunch of them, or Playdate
Well,
2.0.
they reckon they're limited stock. They reckon they're only building about one batch of them, and that's it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's probably partly the reason they'll sell,
Yep.
because somebody's going to have something no one else has. It's that whole human emotion thing.
Yep. Anything else for you?
Look, there's a few bits and pieces, but there's a new iPhone update that's just come out, and apparently iPhone maker promises to warn users if an update will affect smartphone performance. So apparently they're going to tell you ahead of time of the mandatory update that it's going to destroy your phone.
So you can start planning on saving for the next one. Is that it?
I think that's how it works. This update's going to kill your phone, but be warned, you got 30 days before we'll force you to update.
That should be enough time to get a new credit card.
So,
hello, Mr. Bank Manager. I need a loan. Why is that? The new iPhone's coming out, and my current one's not going to work with the new OS. What?
Pretty much, I think that's how it's going to work. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bits and pieces happening, but there's nothing major, I don't believe, that we've missed.
Cool.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Hello,
Probably
everyone.
got people to let us know.
Yeah, thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Heads show, broadcast weekly. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. You can email us, Glenn, Will, or Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au. You can hear Aussie Tech Heads on aussietechradio.com, 24/7, back-to-back play of some of the best Ted? Who's Ted?
Ted? Wow.
Best tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. New shows added every Friday. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
We promise not to be drunk next time. Bye.
Don't guarantee anything, ever.
Yeah, I make no promises.